Hey there, fellow soil enthusiasts, I know what you're thinking. Another article about soil improvement probably means we're diving into the usual suspects: compost, fertilizers, and pH adjustments. But here's the thing that's got me absolutely buzzing with excitement. Some of the most transformative soil improvements happen when we step outside that conventional amendment box. After years of getting my hands dirty and watching countless gardeners struggle with the same tired approaches, I've discovered that the real magic happens in the spaces between what we typically consider soil work. Today, I'm sharing 5 game-changing strategies that have revolutionized not just my own garden beds, but the way I think about soil health entirely. Let me tell you about a revelation that completely changed my gardening game. For years, I was obsessing over what to add to my soil while completely ignoring what I was doing to my soil just by walking on it. Soil compaction isn't just an abstract concept, it's happening every single time we step into our garden beds, and it's quietly sabotaging all our other soil improvement efforts. Here's what blew my mind. Even light foot traffic can reduce soil pore space by up to 30%. Think about that for a moment. All those beneficial microorganisms, earthworms, and root systems need air to thrive, and we're literally squeezing the life out of our soil with every casual stroll through the tomato patch. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires a shift in how we move through our gardens. I started by creating permanent pathways using stepping stones, mulched walkways, or even simple wooden boards. But the real game changer was implementing dedicated access points to each bed. Instead of randomly wandering wherever looked convenient, I now have specific spots where I enter and work from, allowing me to reach most areas without stepping directly on growing medium. The transformation in my soil structure was visible within just one growing season. Areas that had been consistently walked on became noticeably more porous, water infiltration improved dramatically, and root development exploded. My plants weren't just surviving, they were thriving in ways I hadn't seen before. Most gardeners think soil work is something you do when you have time or when the weather's nice. But soil has its own rhythm, its own perfect moments for intervention. And learning to read these signals has been absolutely transformative for my garden's health. Soil moisture content is the secret key here. Working soil when it's too wet creates those hard, concrete-like clumps that can take months to break down naturally. Too dry, and you're creating dust that blows away, taking precious organic matter and microorganisms with it. The sweet spot, what soil scientists call friable, is when soil holds together lightly in your hand but crumbles easily when pressed. Here's my field test that never fails. Grab a handful of soil and squeeze it gently. If water drips out, it's too wet. If it doesn't hold together at all, it's too dry. The perfect timing is when it forms a loose ball that breaks apart with gentle pressure. This is when soil particles can be moved and rearranged without destroying the delicate structure that supports healthy plant growth. But timing goes beyond just moisture. I've learned to align my soil work with natural cycles. Early morning often provides ideal conditions because overnight dew has brought moisture levels to that perfect middle ground. Avoiding soil work during extreme temperature swings protects beneficial microorganisms that might be stressed by sudden environmental changes. The difference in soil response when you time things right is remarkable. Soil worked at optimal conditions maintains better structure, integrates amendments more effectively, and recovers faster from any disturbance. It's like the difference between working with your soil versus working against it. Water management might be the most overlooked aspect of soil health, and I'm not talking about how much you water, I'm talking about how water moves through and interacts with your soil ecosystem. This understanding completely revolutionized my approach to soil improvement. Most gardeners think about watering plants, but what we're really doing is watering soil. The soil acts as a living reservoir, storing moisture, nutrients, and air in a complex dance that directly impacts plant health. When we improve how water moves through our soil, we're essentially upgrading the entire growing environment. Deep, infrequent watering has been my biggest breakthrough here. Instead of frequent shallow watering that keeps roots near the surface, I've learned to water deeply but less often. This encourages roots to dive deeper, naturally improving soil structure as they create channels and pathways. These root channels become permanent highways for water, air, and beneficial organisms. I also discovered the power of water infiltration testing. Using a simple coffee can with both ends removed, I push it slightly into the soil and fill it with water, timing how long it takes to drain. Healthy soil should absorb water at about 1 to 2 inches per hour. If it's draining too fast, the soil lacks organic matter and water-holding capacity. Too slow and compaction or clay content might be limiting healthy water movement. Understanding your soil's water personality allows you to make targeted improvements. Adding organic matter helps sandy soils hold more water, while creating drainage pathways helps clay soils avoid waterlogging. It's about working with your soil's natural tendencies rather than fighting against them. Plants aren't just passive recipients of good soil, they're active soil builders, and learning to harness this power has been one of my most exciting discoveries. Different plants contribute to soil health in unique ways, and strategically choosing what to grow can dramatically improve your soil without adding a single amendment. Deep-rooted plants are absolute soil champions. Crops like daikon radishes, alfalfa, and sunflowers send roots deep into the soil profile, breaking through compacted layers and bringing up nutrients from depths that shallow-rooted plants can't access. When these roots eventually decompose, they leave behind channels that improve drainage and create pathways for future plant roots. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some plants are living soil amendments. Legumes like peas, beans, and clover have a special relationship with nitrogen-fixing bacteria that literally pull nitrogen from the air and convert it into plant-available forms. Growing these plants doesn't just avoid depleting soil nitrogen, it actually increases it. I've also become fascinated with dynamic accumulators plants that concentrate specific minerals in their tissues. Comfrey accumulates potassium, stinging nettle concentrates iron, and dandelions pull up calcium from deep in the soil profile. When these plants are chopped and left on the surface as mulch, they release these concentrated nutrients exactly where your other plants need them. The key is thinking of your garden as an ecosystem where every plant plays a role in soil building. Even weeds can be allies when you understand what they're telling you about soil conditions and how they're working to improve those conditions naturally. The soil surface is where most of the biological action happens, yet it's often the most neglected part of our soil improvement efforts. Learning to protect and enhance this critical zone has produced some of my most dramatic soil transformations. Bare soil is essentially wounded soil. When soil surface is exposed to direct sunlight, temperature extremes, and rainfall impact, it loses moisture rapidly, beneficial microorganisms die off, and the delicate soil structure breaks down. Covering soil isn't just about weed suppression, it's about creating optimal conditions for the biological processes that build soil health. Living mulches have become my secret weapon here. Instead of just applying organic mulch materials, I use low-growing plants like creeping thyme, ajuga, or even carefully managed grass to create a living carpet that protects soil while adding organic matter through their root systems and leaf drop. But the real magic happens when you understand soil surface temperature management. Soil temperature affects everything from seed germination to microbial activity. Dark mulches absorb heat and warm soil faster in spring, while light-colored mulches reflect heat and keep soil cooler in summer. By strategically choosing mulch colors and materials, you can create microclimates that extend growing seasons and optimize soil biological activity. I've also learned to read soil surface cues that tell me what's happening in the deeper soil layers. Algae growth might indicate overwatering or poor drainage. Mushroom growth often signals healthy organic matter decomposition. White, thread-like fungal networks visible on the surface indicate a thriving soil ecosystem that's actively building soil structure and nutrient availability. These 5 strategies have completely transformed how I think about soil improvement, and I know they can do the same for you. The beautiful thing about these approaches is that they work together synergistically. Managing foot traffic improves soil structure, which enhances water infiltration, which creates better conditions for beneficial plants, which build soil health from within. Remember, soil improvement isn't a destination. It's an ongoing relationship with the living ecosystem beneath our feet. Every small change you make creates ripple effects that compound over time, building healthier, more resilient growing environments that support abundant plant growth naturally. Start with just one of these strategies that resonates with you. Maybe it's creating dedicated pathways to reduce compaction, or perhaps it's experimenting with dynamic accumulator plants. The key is to begin observing your soil as a living system rather than just a growing medium. Your soil is waiting to show you what it's capable of when given the right conditions. These techniques have opened up a whole new world of gardening possibilities for me, and I can't wait to hear about your own soil transformation journey. If this article has sparked your curiosity about unconventional soil improvement methods, make sure to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles for more deep dive explorations into the fascinating world beneath our feet. Share this with fellow gardeners who are ready to think beyond traditional amendments. Let's build a community of soil enthusiasts who are passionate about working with nature's own soil-building processes. Your garden's transformation starts with that first intentional step toward healthier soil.